now you're doing Sunset Boulevard.
I am.
Okay, you want to talk a little bit about this?
When Sunset Boulevard first came out, I was kind of obsessed with it. I went to see it 2 times, seen 2 different Norma Desmonds, and I think the idea of the show and how it's so much more clever than most Andrew Lloyd Webber shows, not anything against his shows, just it's smarter than you think it is. And the way that this whole tale is raveled around Salome in a way, and the story of Salome is the movie that she wants to make, and it's very smart. And I remember, of course, being sucked into the Hollywood glamour of it. I, of course, spent much of my youth sitting in my Nana's living room watching the original American movie classics before it turned into what it is now. But watching all the black and white films and just being sucked into that film noir world. And so when this musical came out, it was right up my alley. Great music, and so I went to see it 2 different times. And I remember thinking, this is great, she looks great, everything is cool, there's cars and stuff, but she's not really singing that well. Both of the Normas I saw were famous actresses, and I won't slight them here, but they were fantastic acting-wise, but there was something lacking vocally. And now enter Flo Lacey, and you have all of that, and you have some lines. And when we first did our sing-through, I was like, is that how that goes? I never knew, because she's actually singing things that have never been sung before, have been spoken in other productions. So it's been a delight to be a part of the production, and you know, I can't say that it's very taxing on me. I don't do as much as she does, but it's been great to sit and watch her work and see her get to cut her teeth and nails into a part as delicious as this. So that's been the treat for me, is just watching my other mother.
Here, you've worked with us since 1999, right? Okay, how did you get this role? Did you have to come and audition? Did we call you up? What did we do?
What, the first time I did a show?
No, right,
or this
time. This
Sunset.
time.
No, I auditioned. And which, yeah, you usually have to audition. There are rare times that you don't. That happens too. If Eric has 100% certainty of a certain thing, like I did not audition for Jack in Into the Woods, or, you know. But this was different because he was looking for a younger cast that had kind of like, could be a working actor in Hollywood looks, which is not me, but I'm glad he put me into that mix. He wanted a certain look for the cast.
I was wondering about the haircut. Yeah.
Yeah, and so I went in a 3-piece pinstripe suit, and with my hair combed and slicked and a tie and the whole thing. And after I left, as I was leaving, I sang my song and he went like this.
That's good.
And I was like,
good.
do you, I'm gonna go. Is that okay? Oh yeah. He walked out going, what was that about? And then later, the accompanist said, I said, why was he like that in the audition? He liked your suit. He thought you looked good in your suit. So, yeah. But he liked that I had dressed of the era to come and audition, and I did that, frankly, just to kind of put myself more visibly into the show in his eyes. I know Eric is very visually orientated, you know. So sometimes, and I don't always recommend that to people, of like dressing up like the part for an audition, because that can be a little pretentious, but dressing in the neighborhood of it sometimes is not a bad thing. So. I was terrified because it was one of my first big auditions out of college, and I knew Eric Schaefer had a very famous reputation, very esteemed work, and so here I was out of college, and I didn't know, I knew they did a lot of Sondheim at this theater, so I was going to sing something Sondheim, And I picked Too Many Mornings from Follies, which they had not done yet at that point, and I thought, well, I won't sing from anything they've done, because then they'll think of the person who sang it first, and blah, 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 so I'll sing Follies. But then Too Many Mornings is a song usually sung by an older character, and you don't hear a young person singing much, so that was my rationale. So I was all prepared, and I went in, and I was about to start, and I went, and a phone rang, and it was Eric, and Eric said, oh, I have to take this. So I'm there like, Marcia Gardner was the one who said, huh, don't you love it when this happens, Stephen? Trying to put me at ease. And I was like, I can't say it ever has, Marcia. So I stood for about 2 minutes, and then he was like, okay, go ahead. Okay. I didn't know the show at all. I'd never even seen or read The Rainmaker. So I had no preconceived notion of who this character was or how I was going to find him. And I remember Eric saying, I said, is he special? Like, is he a little slow? Is he? And Eric was like, that's not, you don't know that, even if he is. He doesn't know that, so that doesn't matter. He said, I think he's more, his tempo goes fast and then slow, and fast and slow, and we just have to find that. So anyone who is a close friend of mine knows that I drink Red Bull a lot, especially before shows. It just gives me energy. It's like coffee. I don't like coffee that much. And he would always say, Stephen Gregory, this is one of those moments. Drink the Red Bull. Drink the Red Bull. Metaphorically saying, okay, my energy's great. It was great. It was fun.
And then you won the Helen Hayes Award that year. Okay. Or what was that like when they called your name?
Insane. I mean, how can you plan for anything like that? We were nominated, me, Harry, and Tom were all nominated for the show. And then Matt Bogart, who played Starbuck in that production, was nominated for his work in a different show, and also Jim Moy was nominated. So it was like, okay, who's going to win this? It's like we're all in the same show right now. And I thought, well, clearly not me. I mean, there's Harry Winter, there's 2 Broadway stars. So on the way to the Helen Hayes, Matt had a piece of paper in his pocket, or it was the lyrics to one of his songs that was as yet undone at Signature, but it was a lyric from Nevermore. And on the other side of it, he said, hey, Stephen, you should probably just write down a few thank yous just in case. And I was like, no, okay. And I tucked it in my pocket, and I thought it would just stay there. And so then when it happened, and they said my name, I remember I was sitting with Matt and my mom and Dad, and I think we all just screamed. It's like, ah! And Matt was like, ah! I jumped up and hugged them, and then Jackie was in the row in front of me, and she had just won for 110 in the Shade. So she turned around and was like, ah! And it was crazy. And then I remember running up to get my award because I was afraid they'd take it back.